All right, this is my presentation on experiential learning, version 1.0 for education leadership promoting change. I'm sorry that I am not there in the personal. I am fairly certain you do not want me there because I am sick, like full on sick. So let's just go ahead and go through this Prezi that I put together for you. Here we go. So when we start about experiential learning, place that we want to start is the beginnings. Clearly, we need a game plan, game players, and a flexible building open to change in order for this action plan to be able to be effective. So I definitely used Ambrose's complex model of change while putting together this experiential model action plan. So we'll just go through this a little bit and then we'll talk about Fullen and how he also is in there. So when we think about the action plan, we're going to build on what is already in place, get the right people in the right positions, and use design thinking training and inventory models training. So essentially what that means is looking at the K-8 model at Lincoln Elementary School in Rochester, Minnesota, which is all about SMART goals and looping education. So they're already a great school in order to be open to this sort of action plan of experiential learning. So experiential learning essentially is having an experience dictate what the learning is going to have. So breaking down the walls of content, breaking down the walls of teacher and student, and really looking at putting the student in the driver's seat to solve a complex, bigger question. And that's what we want to look at within Lincoln. Eventually, I would like this to be a grade 3 through 12 experiential track that students can sign up for. But right now, we're just starting with a pilot at Lincoln K-8 and looking at 3 through 8. So the skills that students and teachers both would need is adaptability, enthusiasm, desire for a new delivery of education, and a sense of adventure, and the ability to give up position for place. What I mean by that last one is so often we think about power and empowering. And as educators, I think sometimes there's a few that can forget that our position of power is about empowering students and not being in places of power in order to dictate to them what their learning is supposed to be. It is supposed to be about engaging their enthusiasm and their curiosity. And so these are the skills that we need the teachers to have in order to really give over to the students and let the students come up and create their experience. In order for both teachers and students to invest truly, we need to have some incentives. Part of that is this collaboration time. They need to be able to work together. Time for teachers to come up with these experiences, to work with the students, to get their input, to employ design thinking, which essentially is looking at the ability to redesign and reevaluate within the process. So I think of it like apps. When we make apps, there's version 1, version 1.1, version 1.2, and each version comes out and there's some bug fixes, but sometimes that can create another bug. But the app developer understands that and doesn't take that personally and doesn't throw the entire app away then. He just continues to work on solving that problem, solving that riddle. And that really is what experiential learning is about too. It's about that time to work together to really try to solve a bigger riddle. The resources, time again. If a building or teacher team or student team doesn't feel like they have adequate enough time to find the answer, then their drive will lessen. Because then it becomes more about the time pressure and that end of the process goal instead of about the process itself. Sometimes that time pressure and time sensitivity is important, but when we're first starting this experiential learning track, it needs to not be as time sensitive. It needs to be more organic and pure to what the students are learning. There needs to be a sense of community buy-in because they have the resources that we need. And so the more community can know what's happening and be invited into the classroom to participate with us, the better. We clearly need district buy-in to fund us, or at least give us the space. Hopefully I'll be funded through a grant in order to run this research. But at first, that they can provide a place within the building, Lincoln K-8, for me to run my research. And then the individual teacher and student buy-in as well. That is incredibly important for sustainability, and especially through those times of really hard change. Full and secrets are important here as we look at going forward. Clearly, Jim, who is the principal at Lincoln K-8, already loves his employees and does a great job with connecting peers with purpose. He's made for that. And because of that, the capacity building and the learning as work is already something that he facilitates and probably doesn't even realize that he's doing it. He is incredibly transparent with every invested member of the community. And that is one reason why I really would like to work with this building leadership. I've already mentioned that he likes getting people in the right position. He also connects peers with purpose and capacity building. He encourages learning. He encourages people to go to professional development conferences, time to collaborate with team members. He is finding ways in which teachers can work together in order to deliver a great experience to their students. And learning in systems. Although Jim probably would not think of it this way, he already has a great leadership because of his propensity for design thinking already. If something isn't working, he encourages his teachers to figure out what would work better. He encourages our STEM coordinator to go out and find a different program in case the one that she's working on with the kids doesn't work. He is about pushing into change and pushing into the future and looking at good delivery of education, not just good delivery through tools. He really does have a sense of why, and his why is that Lincoln K-8 is the most extraordinary school in the planet, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. Thank you.